proposed charter is now available to the public. We cover the latest meeting for more details.
Plus, a donation of land was offered to the town of East Longmeadow, under one condition. We find out if the planning board accepts.
Also coming up, the Board of Public Works announces new projects that are in the works.
And later, a Christmas display in East Longmeadow goes viral, causing a huge buzz on the internet.
Plus, we have the results for the EL High School Gingerbread House Contest, when members of the community were welcome to come vote.
Those stories and much more ahead on ELCAT News Update.
Good evening, I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Jake Brady.
We begin tonight with an update on the Charter Commission. After vigorous work, the proposed charter is completed and was distributed to households in East Longmeadow on Thursday. The draft was also sent to the Attorney General's office for review. The Commission also discussed details for the upcoming public hearing.
Moving on to another meeting, at this week's Planning Board meeting, a donation of land was offered to the town by local residents under one condition, that the land be used for conservation only.
I have a letter here dated to the Board of Selectmen, attention Paul Federici, Town of East Longmeadow, Center Square, East Longmeadow, Mass. Dear Mr. Federici, my wife and I own a parcel of land situated off Chestnut Street in East Longmeadow. To be specific, it is a 10-acre parcel on map 40, block 53, lot 0. We would like to know if the town would be interested in acquiring this parcel of land as a donation from us for conservation purposes.
Planning Board members share their insights on whether the land would be beneficial to the town.
This couple is looking to donate it as conservation land. That means you cannot use it for anything like recreation.
Right.
Fields, anything like that. No one, as far as I know, has even spoken to these people to ask them if they want to, have it strictly conservation or open space and recreation. I don't know how you all feel about it, but that's a very important issue.
Personally, I think that taking as conservation land would be a great idea, because that way it would not be developed, and therefore
Correct, yeah.
We wouldn't get any pushback from the neighbors, the abutters to this place.
My only concern with conservation is it basically ties the town's hands. They couldn't do anything at all with it, and if there was a different use, whether it be a small park or something like that for the neighborhood, that would be something that we wouldn't be allowed to do.
When it was time to vote, board members could not agree.
We'd make a motion then that we accept the property as town property if they would be willing to donate it to the town.
Unencumbered.
Unencumbered. Just a straight out donation to the town, and then the town can choose to use it as it sees fit.
So we'll take the loss of revenue, do what we want with it.
Exactly.
Sell it,
Which
develop
also,
it, whatever. I don't see it beneficial to acquire property that we could go build more things when we don't even have the money. We're gonna take a loss for a potential structure when we need to look at other facilities, parks,
Yeah, I agree.
fields, prior to even looking at something like this.
You made a motion.
I made a motion.
Seconded?
Has it been seconded?
Nope.
Is there anyone willing to second it?
Okay, I'll make a motion then that we decline the offer.
I second.
There we go.
Any further discussion on a decline of offer? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
I'll
Issue
put a
from the
letter
planning
together
board.
to the Board of Selectmen stating all of your concerns, and then send it to you also that you can look at it before I send it. So that they don't think that you're just
Right.
going, I'm not going to pay any attention.
Great.
All right?
Also discussed at the meeting, the Recreation Department wants the sign bylaw changed in order to allow contributors to put up signs on the EL Sports fences. This would allow commercial advertising on public property.
Regulations are going to have to be established for size, length of time, how they're to be attached so that they don't, shred and make a mess.
And so you
And-
don't have people putting banners on private.
Right,
As well.
and if you want to forbid tobacco, alcohol, the wording has to be right.
I personally think it's a great idea. If you go over to Forest Park where they have the softball fields and you see everybody contributing to the sports team that are advertising there and on the shirts and the banners with obvious, language and
Because it will
type
be
of
for,
business
it'll be for a
advertisement.
fee. They
Right.
would have to pay,
Yep.
a certain amount of money in order to leave it up for a certain length of time. And that money would go towards the upkeep of the fields, because people are concerned that the fields aren't being taken care of, and it's getting more difficult and more difficult for DPW.
Being a coach in this town, I can tell you that any income to help support the fields that our kids are running on would be much beneficial.
New business was also a key topic at the planning board meeting. The board approved PMK Nails Nail Salon to open on 52 Shaker Road.
Now we jump into the latest Board of Public Works meeting. The board discussed town hall renovations, budget, and an overview of finished and upcoming projects.
In other news, 2 homes in East Longmeadow are sure getting a lot of attention.
The holiday decorations and light display on Summers Road are causing drivers to take a double look. Someone captured the light display on their cell phone and posted it on Facebook with the caption, "Let's make these 2 houses go famous for their amazing Christmas lights." And that's exactly what happened. The video went viral with over 130,000 views within the past 3 weeks.
Now turning to library learning, where we give you a recap on past events and let you know what's coming up next to plan your family fun day.
This past weekend, the library held a book signing event for local authors, all of whom work at Meadowbrook Elementary School.
A great turnout for authors Betsy Sheehan, Maureen McPhail, and Barbara Spear, who each read their book for the audience and talked about what inspired them.
My book is called Where the Ocean Meets the Shore, and I was inspired to write it because my son Bobby here, when he was just 3 years old, we were having a new baby Liam, and Bobby has an exciting imagination that is sometimes hard to keep up with, but I wanted to bottle that up. I wanted to make sure that we remembered as he grew up what his imagination was like and the things that he would come up with. So what happens is Bobby's at the seashore with his grandparents, who are actually in the back here, with his grandparents, and he starts to find, and he has kind of like this fantasy world that's all around him. And he starts to find these objects on the beach, and he has to use these objects because he's been given a challenge by the Queen of the Sea. Her name is Grace O'Malley, or Granuelle is what we call her in this book. He's been given a challenge to protect his brother from the creatures that might try to get him.
The inspiration that for my books actually comes from my students. And just in my classroom, we really focus on team building and team spirit. And so I love fairy tales. And so I try to put all of that into my books as far as teaching a moral. So, for instance, my first book, Little Red's Neighborhood, it teaches the lesson of not talking about others, always saying kind things about others. And then my second book that I'm going to share today, The Three Little Puggies in the Hufflepuff Hound, is a spin on, what's it a spin on? The Three Little Pigs. And again, it has the same characters, and the main character in all the stories is the hairy dog father. Because don't we all wish we could have a fairy godmother. Well, and instead we have our hairy dog father. And the hairy dog father was once bad to the bone, and he's turned over a new leash, and he's come to teach a lesson, and it's treating others as we want to be treated.
Behind this story is actually my mom, who would always say whenever we'd be talking, you should write that story down. And so I did. And I'm very grateful that I was able to share it with her before she passed. So this is real heart and soul, and she still lives on with this. So what inspires me is you guys, because here I am writing a story, and you guys are here reading it, and children inspire me daily, and they teach me more than I'll ever be able to teach them. I'm just going to share, it's the story of Little Blue. It's a story of a little girl and her sister who find a little baby bird who's fallen out of its nest, and the mama bird's trying to save it. So the girls help save it by grabbing a basket and taking it back to the house and taking care of it.
Copies of the author's books were available for sale. All proceeds went to charity.
Coming up this week, the library is hosting Friday Flicks, a free movie event for those looking to wind down during the busy holiday season. The library will be showing Ricky and the Flash, a PG-13 film that stars talented Meryl Streep, who gives up everything for her dream of rock and roll. Come on down to enjoy the film December 18th at 1 p.m. in the library community room.
Also happening at the library, a Frozen holiday party.
The popular movie comes to life this Saturday, December 19th at 1:30 p.m.
So bring the little ones to enjoy face painting, games, and more. Register at the library children's department.
It's time to cover an annual tradition at the EL High School. Culinary arts teacher Mary Jane McMahon teaches her students teamwork, critical thinking, and other skills that employees are looking for. How does she teach these skills? With a gingerbread house competition.
The contest is between two culinary art classes that consist of high school juniors and seniors.
Students, teachers, staff, and even community members were welcomed to view the students' creations and vote on their favorite. ELCAT talked to 3 students who participated in this year's contest: Maya Dowley, Christine Perry, and Aliyah Salone.
One critical requirement for the contest was that participants must choose a childhood theme. According to McMahon, this requirement allowed students to get more creative.
We all just reminisce on what TV shows we watched when we were little, and Bear in the Big Blue House was one of them. And we all like the idea of making Bear and just all his characters that were in the show. So that was a good time.
We chose to go bigger than most people do with their gingerbread houses, and all the tiny intricate details with the characters, because everyone's seen the TV show Bear in the Big Blue House growing up, so I really wanted to make it come to life, and so we did.
Each team consisted of 5 members. According to the girls, the experience was a learning process that enhanced their communication skills.
Each one of us played our own parts. So if one of us couldn't be here, the other one tried to make up for it. And it was really nice actually working as a team.
But making a gingerbread house, and something may go wrong, so if you don't tell that to another member, and the other member puts something on the house, it might just collapse, and without telling them, and just...
And the recipes might not go right all the time, so you can have other people look over and say, oh, you didn't add enough sugar, or there isn't enough water. So it really helps having a fresh pair of eyes on what you're doing.
The voting ended at 12 p.m. on Wednesday after a full week of work in the kitchen. The results: in first place, Hansel and Gretel, and what's that? A Nightmare Before Christmas. In second place, Charlie Brown Christmas and Whoville. Congratulations to this year's 2015 Gingerbread House winners.
We'll end tonight with a public service announcement.
Nomination papers are available for the April 2016 local town election.
All nomination papers are available at the town clerk's office and need to be returned with the required 50 signatures of registered voters by January 26th. For more information, stop in at the town hall.
Well, that will do it for us tonight on this edition of ELCAT News Update.
Be sure to watch meetings on demand at our ELCAT YouTube channel, ELCAT 01028.
Follow us on Facebook and watch us on cable channel 191. I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Jake Brady. Until next time, good night.